And now in studio, we're joined by Mr. Tsepo Khadima to just discuss further with us on this one. A very warm welcome to you once again. What are your expectations on Brian Molefe that now he has filed papers in court?
Well, certainly I think this is a correct decision that has been taken by Mr. Molefe in order to really, in the interest of justice and as well as the rule of law, he had to go this route. And I think that concession by the Eskom board chair that they rescinded his appointment as a direct result of the instruction from Minister Lynn Brown to rescind his appointment, that is legally fatal to any opposing affidavit that they might be able to file. They will not be able to hold cause legally in opposing Mr. Molefe's application for one simple reason. The board of directors of any company, and Eskom is such a company organized under company law in this country, has to act in the best interest of the company, and that is their fiduciary duty. The African National Congress National Executive Committee, as well as the Interministerial Council or committee that was put together, both of them had no locus standi howsoever to give an instruction to the Eskom board to take the action that they now have taken. For to do so is unlawful. But also it is an assault on the rule of law as well as on the Constitution. Sadly, the decision of the African National Congress National Executive Committee has only served to confirm the long-standing accusation of the Democratic Alliance that the ANC does not respect the rule of law as well as the Constitution. And it is actually the action that Mr. Molefe is taking can only serve the African National Congress better to save them or redeem them from that legally untenable position. Now, many times we know that various ministers, and I think as late as Friday, even the Minister of Finance, was continuing to really speak about that South Africa has got strong independent institutions. Now, the board of directors of a state-owned company is part and parcel of that group or that cluster called strong independent institutions. God forbid that we should ever have a day whereby an outside structure with no locus standi howsoever can give an instruction to a board of directors of a company who are supposed to act under company law, therefore preserving the rule of law, and start giving instructions, because that means that, therefore, the saying that we've got strong independent institutions is hollow. That instruction to Eskom board certainly is unlawful, and I cannot see how they would be able to hold cause legally in defending the action that Mr. Brian Molefe has now brought to the Labour Court. And certainly he has done so, and I think it has to be applauded because we need certainty on this. And the directors of any board of a company, they have a fiduciary duty to apply their minds on any decisions that they make, to do so independently, but to do so in the interest of the company. So we have to ask, is it in the interest of Eskom that they are now going to be involved in protracted litigation which will stop them from any process to hire a new group chief executive officer? Because until this matter is finalized, all the processes or efforts to hire a new group chief executives have come to a grinding halt. Is that in the interest of Eskom? And of course, the other things that I've had the Interministerial Committee mentioning last week when they were announcing the very unlawful and overreach decision to instruct a board of that is supposed to act independently in the manner that they did, was the fact that, well, Eskom, by the way, has got the largest bulk of the government guarantees. And that itself is one of the things that some of us are calling that unless you radically transform the economy of this country, part of that will be including company law, and most of company law specifically to state-owned companies. They speak about strong balance sheet. We need to move away from the neoliberalist economic policy We already know the results of neoliberalist economic policies, that they've been disastrous for this country. We need to move away from that, have state interventionism. Therefore, you have to go and reform company law. And if you do so, you've got to look at some of the best people among you. And Mr. Molefe certainly is one of the best people, I think, in this country to be able to lead a state-owned company. The manner in which he was treated. Lest we forget that, by the way, the Interministerial Committee called a press conference, announced that it's going to be instructing the board of Eskom to rescind the appointment of Mr. Molefe or the reappointment of Mr. Molefe before they even spoke to the board or even Mr. Molefe as affected parties. That itself was a violation of constitutional rights of both the board of Eskom as well as Mr. Molefe in person.
And now looking at how the process was handled, could this be a long legal battle for Mr. Brian Molefe?
Well, I think from my assessment now, everything is on his side. The law is on his side. The best way was for him to have approached the courts to ask them to interpret what the legal provisions are and what powers the African National Congress would have had to instruct the minister to rescind an appointment when the minister does not even enjoy the legal privilege to have instructed the board of Eskom to do what it did. And therefore, I mean, these are operational matters, and it was not their legal privilege to interfere or intervene, for it is unlawful. Why they even thought that they could do it, it is baffling, said to say that it only confirms the Democratic Alliance long-standing accusation. So therefore the ANC needs to redeem itself, and they need to respect Mr. Molefe's rights in this regard.
Thank you
and
very
also
much.
Respect the courts in terms of what the process that now they will be adjudicating upon.
Thank you very much for those details. That was political analyst Mr. Tshepo Kgadima just giving us more details. As you know, that former Eskom CEO Brian Molefe has launched an urgent application in the Labour Court in Johannesburg to have the decision to remove him as Eskom CEO declared invalid.